Welcome back to the 17-minute podcast with one promise, and that is to be 17 minutes long. So what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about America. We're going to talk about how very, very large it is and how we can make it feel smaller. Because there is one thing that we lost, we could bring back, but nobody thinks they want it. And that's a marketing problem. I'm talking about railroads, and I'm talking about trains. I'm talking about the automotive industry, the transportation industry, because it's called the auto industry as shorthand, and it means cars in America these days. That's not how it should be. You can find people talking about this online plenty, where the cars took over in the 50s because in the 40s the car companies destroyed what we had in the 30s and before, where we had light rail and trolley cars everywhere in America. But what we don't have, that a lot of the rest of the world does, Europe and Asia, where it can be afforded, high-speed rail. Because I don't like flying. I want to hop on a little train and I want to relax and get where I need to go, or where I just want to go. And it's not that bad. It won't take as much as people think it'll take. People think it's immense, and the only immensity is that it is the United States of America, a very large body. Because it is. It's 800 miles to go from New York to Chicago, and from Chicago to the Pacific Ocean to Los Angeles is another 2,000 miles. And so at the, what I can find, average rate that high-speed rail trains run at about 185 miles an hour, it is 15 hours, 16 hours for one stop in Chicago and getting people on and off, which doesn't seem like a bad waste of time to go across the nation. People will bring up that one's going to be flown, but I think it's important to have it. I think there is a key moment in American history that I'm not sure many other people call a key moment, but maybe they do. And that is the finishing of the Transcontinental Railroad. There was a link between the East and the West, and California was admitted as a state. There's a whole lot of history behind that, but I think that it was important that from one section to the other you could get across the nation. And there are flights today, every day, multiple times a day, that also cross the nation, but there isn't a train that crosses the nation in a day like there could be. And then there's top to south. There's no way to get from Chicago down to Dallas, where I am. And the most, let's call it, maybe not the most ill-conceived notion, but the bickering siblings that are Dallas and Houston should be connected in a better way than by the interstate. The interstate is incredibly useful because you hear the stories of how the Army tried to cross the entire nation and it took months and was constantly breaking down. So the interstate is a very good system that we should keep, but it would also help to have a way to connect. There are finer details that anyone more qualified can go into. But I just don't see why we don't encourage the transportation industry. And you know why? It's because the car companies say, no, it's the automotive industry, it's the automobile industry. And they say it's against your freedom to take away the cars. We're not taking away the cars, we're adding a way for you to not have to drive or fly across the country. You can take a train across the country, and it's a little bit slower. It's a little bit out of your control. You can miss a flight. You can't miss your car. But you also don't have to damage your car crossing the country. I'll get back to my opinions on the car, because it's not what you think from this point. I will just say that we could have options. Why would we not want options? Independence comes with options. But I'm going to take a detour to talk about the car in the city that I live in, Dallas. Because these days I feel like the city of Dallas, the DFW area, Dallas-Fort Worth, shouldn't have cars. I've been here my entire life. I've been through plenty of other places. New York is gridlock. I didn't really drive through a whole lot of the Chicago greater area. And the only pop culture I know about LA is that it's always standstill traffic. There has never been a moment where traffic flows in Los Angeles and what they call the Inland Empire. They don't have an Inland Empire. Dallas and Fort Worth are the Inland Empire. If you want to see city after city, mile after mile of road, and we are 5 hours from the closest big body of water, the Gulf of Mexico, and we are nowhere near an ocean coast. So it's always been my opinion that Dallas would be a much better Inland Empire, DFW. But it's gone too far. There's always been this joke of the Texas speed limit. Just everyone goes 5 over. And for the most part, yeah, that's fine. But Dallas and then the rest of the Texas Triangle, I believe, have had similar problems. Austin, San Antonio, maybe more so than Houston, because Houston gets a bit traffic heavy, and I have heard all my life that Houston is not as good with traffic. Where everyone has been moving here, and so they're learning the culture of the city, and there's a driving culture here in DFW, and that joke about always going 5 over has been taken as gospel to anyone trying their hand at driving in Dallas. And there's a lot of driving to do. There's a lot of good things to do around Dallas. It takes a second to get there, but you can find stuff that's fun. And you can drive there and get there in a car. But people have gone insane. It's maybe not news to anybody, but people have just, it's not going 5 over anymore. 5 over in the right lane and you're getting honked at. People are going 10, 15 miles per hour above a 40 mile per hour speed limit, and it's not worth it. They're being beyond aggressive drivers. They're dangerous drivers. And it's to the point where I just can't stand it anymore. I we it's all this like carried away of, oh ha ha, we go 5 over, and then just someone thinks that they need to do 5 over. I enjoy driving more when I know that I've scheduled myself right, so I can hit every light red. But what I do is I have music queued up and ready. Most people would have it on Spotify. I have a selection of CDs that I like. Um, and so I'll have a CD going, or I'll turn on to the radio, surf channel to channel, and I'll be able to find something that is going to entertain me to where I need to be. I think these people are just sitting in silent rage. And that's what I just want to offer to people, is that we can share the road. You have the power within you to leave on time, to not drive like a maniac. There's another part in Dallas car culture. Apparently, our street racing scene is very good here. I'm not a part of it. Very good is, up for debate, as people prefer to not encourage a dangerous activity that can be lethal. What it means is you could start a drag strip in every city, and you could end up with a lot of people using it. But the freedom of the road. And so my main point being is, we can calm down. We'll still go a little bit over, but it's just the left lane is not the fast lane anymore, because the left lane is where you go to go fast, but everyone wants to go fast. Everyone goes into the left lane, and now nobody's going fast, and so I'm passing people in the middle lane. But the left lane isn't the fast lane. The left lane is the passing lane. That's why people go faster there. And so it just goes back to your driving skills, where you turn into the right lane. If you're going, you know how far you're going to go. So for the most part, you stay in the middle lane. And when you need to turn left somewhere, you get into the left lane. Or if you need to pass somebody going a little bit slower in the middle lane, you go to the left. We can work this out, and we can stop being right next to each other. Dallas traffic still goes fairly well. Nothing is too terrible. So we're talking about trains, though, and how you don't need a car. You deserve a car, and there is so much in this nation to see that a car would be useful in every household. It unlocks the nation, but day to day, if I just need to cross my city for work, it would be so much better if I had a little tram that could take me from kind of nearby my house to kind of nearby my work. I can walk a little bit, and if I need to go on a business trip that's over in Houston, being able to hop on a train and be in Houston in 2 hours would be nice. But it's 4 hours by car, wears out my car. So a future with trains and mass transit is a future where your car is so much more enjoyable to get into, because the roads don't have commuters, they have fellow travelers, and you're traveling and enjoying your time. But you also, if it's too far for a drive, it's a train right away. And if it's too far for a train, it's a train that takes you to the airport and you fly where you need to go. This is a beautiful technology rich world, but we can like work to get where we need to go in better ways, slower on the streets, because why do you need to go so fast? It's honestly shameful in some opinion, but we can start businesses. Honestly, is one of the things I think I meant to deliver on. Is it's not a public good, it is something that we can something that someone can make a lot of money doing. Is right alongside the Transcontinental Railroad from the 1800s, is a high-speed rail of the 2000s of this millennium that will be an asset to the nation. So that's what we've talked about today, is that I would like to travel around, but I would like to travel on a train, and I would like to travel on I wouldn't like to travel on a plane. That's why I want a train. But I also love my car. I want to go hop in my car, and I want to go to Buc-ee's. What else would you do if you're from Texas but go to Buc-ee's? And with that, thank you for watching. This has been our 17 minutes. 17 minutes ago, you weren't here, and we'll see you 17 minutes later. Have a great day. Drive friendly, the Texas way.